All right, guys, I think we got it lined up now. Sorry for the delay again. Every time there's something that goes wrong, trying to get this connected and going. But welcome to the Middle American Outdoors Fireside Chat. We did miss last week. As you guys are aware, it was kind of peak. Well, for me, I guess I would say that was peak hunting for rut here in Nebraska leading into invasion of the Orange Army over the weekend with the rifles. Kind of puts a damper on the rut here. But still going strong for the guys in Kansas and Iowa. So they might be a little more tied up than I am right now. But we wanted to get back on. We didn't want to get too far away from our weekly fireside chats. And I'm trying to get open in the background here. We'll get connected. As you guys can see in my computer screen back here, I do keep up with comments as much as I can during the fireside chat here. And if you guys have any comments or questions throughout the period, go ahead and jump in and I'll try to keep up with them. The reason we do this is so that we can be interactive with y'all, and then we turn it into a podcast later, so that way you can watch it or listen to it at your convenience when you're driving in the car. But this gives you an opportunity to be involved through the live broadcast. So this is episode 9, and we are actually going to be focusing on an organization called Veterans Creed Outdoors, which Middle American Outdoors has actually been working with pretty closely, and it's pretty easy to do when one of our crew members is a team leader for Veterans Creed Outdoors. So if you guys are on these things and you can hear me, just let me know, and let me know if things go wrong. That way I can catch it sooner rather than later. And let me go ahead. I'm going to bring in Ben. Ben, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Doing good.
Good. It looks like we have volume, so I'm going to assume that we have volume. One of the guys that chimes in here, Alex, says, I'd be doing a lot better if I wasn't in a 300-acre field with 13 other hunters tonight. That is the definition of the Orange Army on public land in Nebraska. Especially if you get central on east on those smaller pieces. They're get up high, man, and hope nobody's shooting high. But there's good deer to be harvested. There's been plenty of great deer harvested in Nebraska during this season. I'm seeing lots of bucks go down even just in this first 2 or 3 days of rifle season. One of my target bucks on one of the pieces of property that I hunt hard, his name is King, and he took a topple today, and he's quite a beast. But
Yeah,
it's cool to see him go down.
I was glad to see that picture at least. That's a heck of a deer.
Yeah, I mean, it burns when you don't get them, but you don't own them. I don't own the property. One of the co-owners of the property, his family from out of state came in. I'm assuming that they kind of knew about the King, and they got it done. I mean, I punched my deer. I already got my buck archery tag for over here, so I wasn't going to get another shot at him. He's likely not going to survive rifle season anyway, so it was pretty cool to be able to see it go down on that property and have a final, chapter to that book on him. But off the track, and let's get on to the topic with Ben here. As I said, Ben joined Middle American Outdoors this year as the Iowa Crew, but has been involved with nonprofit outdoor veterans organizations for a while now, and is the Iowa team lead for Veterans Creed Outdoors, and he's obviously the link between us as Middle American Outdoors being more involved with Veterans Creed Outdoors, which basically just means that Ben does 2 jobs. Does one job for 2 organizations essentially, and we call it a partnership. But yeah, so welcome back, Ben. How are things going for you?
Man, it's been absolutely wild. There's been we've been seeing the rut activities kicking up, so of course that just changes the whole game, and it's just been a blast. I've been having a good time.
Yeah, I imagine. And I've seen the last couple of days you've been sending videos just driving down the road. Lots of chasing going on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what you can see from the road. It gets even better. You get back. It's just been crazy.
Yeah, that's the good part of living in corn country here. Cut
Yeah.
corn and just watch them go crazy on it. So, getting on topic, we're going to focus on Veterans Creed Outdoors and your role with them tonight, more opposed to your role with Middle American Outdoors. So, how long have you been with VCO?
I've been with VCO just a year. It's actually a fairly new organization. The president and founder, David Cagle, lives down in Arkansas. He had started and founded another organization, and it just kind of went the direction that he wasn't envisioning. So he stepped aside and let them take the reins with it, and they're doing very well. But David and I met a few years ago through another organization that I worked with, and kind of the same thing happened. It just went a different direction than what I had envisioned, and David and I kind of had the same thought process on it, and he went ahead and started VCO, and I took over as the Iowa team lead just about a year ago.
And prior to that, I know you had mentioned you had been part of a different organization. You don't need to spill the beans on that or trash anybody, but how long have you been involved with different organizations and doing this role?
Oh, geez, I've been going about 6 years now with different outdoor organizations, and I'm also the director for veteran affairs for my county here in Fremont County, Iowa, and I've helped out with a lot of other nonprofits. So it just kind of becomes second nature. It's definitely a passion of mine. It's also therapeutic for myself. It's a way to stay connected to that, to that community and stay in touch with that brotherhood that comes along with that lifestyle.
Awesome. And you said brotherhood, so obviously I know, but tell us about, you are a vet, correct?
Yeah, correct. I served 4 years myself in the Army. I was in artillery. When I got out, you kind of lose that. Well, let me back up. So when you go in, they train you how to be a soldier and how to fight and how to be there for your brother standing next to you. When you get out, that they don't teach you how to go back to being a civilian to get that reprogramming. So for quite a few years, I was really lost and didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. And I got hooked up with another organization and was able to be there, firsthand and see what can happen when a veteran that's missing that connection gets that when that light comes on and that switch is flipped. And just the outdoors for myself has always been therapeutic, and to get another veteran out there and experience that, and to know that they're not alone. There's thousands of us out there just like you. Man, it's just you can't explain it in words. You really can't. It's something that you just have to experience, and everybody that I've had involved along the way and is able to see that, what can happen. Just and it's not about hunting or fishing or one of the guys takes people rock crawling in his Jeep. That's not what it's about. It's about getting that connection with that like-minded individual that knows what you're going through, and you developed a bond and a friendship with that person through an activity that you showed common interest in. So it's just like I said, it's just a way to get that connection again, and literally you have a brother for life that you can count on, you can call any time of day. And it's like I said, it's just really hard to put into words the emotional side of it.
Yeah, I think most of us outdoors people can appreciate the therapy of being outdoors and participating in any kind of hunting or fishing or camping or hiking outdoors activities. Um, so take that to the next degree, like you were talking about with the even more enhanced therapy and the brotherhood part of it. That's awesome. So also, when you're talking about doing that through VCO, so what all do you personally do with VCO? I see I'm kind of jarred with on Facebook here. We've got this guy Travis Ramsey commenting. Who, yes,
Oh,
Travis, I
I
am
tell you
well
what,
aware,
I could tell you some things about him.
well aware of who you are, and you and David
Yeah.
Cagle. And I asked him if he had any inside jabs at you, and he just said, "Meh."
No, he's a huge part of VCO as well. Freaking fantastic guy. He is
He's
just,
the VP, he says.
yeah, yeah. He is the man. I tell you, I love that guy.
That's awesome.
Hear about, was it 2-3 weeks ago? Um, I went down to Arkansas. Also, let me backtrack a little bit. Another part of what VCO does is we also work with first responders as well.
Yeah.
So we had an instance. I think we talked about it a little bit a few weeks ago before I went down there. Maybe it's after I got back, but we had a firefighter from Florida that went through a pretty horrific incident, and so we invited him up to Arkansas for a deer hunt. And I tell you, man, it was just a freaking blast. I talked to Dennis quite a bit since then, and I tell you, it totally changed his perspective on the outdoors, and I think he felt that bond. I mean, to his core, and he was able to experience what we all talk about. He was able to see it firsthand.
Yeah, I've got a picture thrown up here of Dennis on that hunt in Arkansas, which we will be covering with the video. It'll probably come after the hunting seasons are over, kind of a reflection on the memories. But here you see you got Ben and Dennis, and this is Travis right in the background, correct, and David Cagle here in the front. So some big wigs in VCO along with Dennis and the doe he was able to take with a pretty incredible shot, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he had a we'll just call it a near miss on his first one. That was quite a trip, but it was raining that day, so we wasn't able to video, and we stuck him up in a tree stand. And the the story of it was just so much fun. And he made a heck of a shot on that deer, just 10-ringed it. It was perfect.
Yeah, when we get to making those videos here in the next couple months, you guys will understand the meh, meh joke in the background there. But pretty cool. That's, yeah, a great example of what VCO does there. And you're able to see, yeah, like I said, some of the big wigs. But back to that topic then, Ben, you are the Iowa team lead. What does that mean? Like, what do you do in that role? I'm assuming there's other, like maybe Missouri team lead or other state team leads. What does that look like in your role?
Well, as far as the team lead role goes, we work with other teams in other states. So if we get a veteran or first responder that lives in another state, or they want to come to our state, we'll work together to make trips happen. I facilitate trips here in Iowa for the most part. We depending on what the situation is, it may be picking the guest up from the airport, setting them up with their lodging. Now we're not a guide service, so let's clear the air on that. We are not guides. We're just fellow outdoorsmen.
Thank you.
that take our guests out hunting. So for me personally, that's what I like the most about it, because it's just got that hunting buddy feel to it. You keep it very low pressure, try to keep it fun and safe. So it's like you're going out with one of your hunting buddies or your fishing buddy. It's not you're not paying for a hunt, so there's not high expectations. It's not just about going out and harvesting an animal. It's about the entire trip and making it a great experience. Getting them immersed in nature and getting that therapeutic aspect of it.
Awesome. And we'll get more into this. I know there's more for your role than just the hunting side of it as far as the fundraisers and stuff. We'll kind of cover that toward the end. But to piggyback off of, we talked about what you do, and you've kind of hinted at, you've kind of covered some of the stuff that VCO actually does. But what are some of the like specific activities that VCO would do? You don't have to like tell me like a specific story, but what are some of the specific things that VCO tries to do with the outdoors groups?
Right. We'll do different types of hunting trips. I personally am a huge deer hunter, so a lot of my efforts go towards that. And a lot of that, the reason behind that is I hunt deer myself, so I'm already set up. So it kind of helps with the legwork of it all, and the logistics. We'll be doing some ice fishing trips coming up here once it gets cold enough and our waters freeze up. And this next spring, we'll be doing some bow fishing trips and some other fishing trips as well. We'll go out in the spring and go shed hunting, go hunting for mushrooms. We'll have turkey season coming up next spring, and so it's a year-round deal. We'll do camping trips, and one thing I like to do is involve the family members, which is one reason I'm with Middle American Outdoors is, we really push getting the youth out there. So we like to include their family as well, so they can see, maybe get a better understanding of why their veteran or their first responder maybe acts the way they do, or maybe help them understand the mental side of what their other half is going through. And that also helps them out as well, because they see that they're not alone as well. My spouse goes through things, my family has to deal with things. So it's very hard to verbalize how this all works and the effect that it has on our veterans and first responders and their family as well.
Well, I can only imagine. If you imagine if you're an outdoorsman or woman, and you get to the weekend and you get to go on that hunt, and you just imagine how you feel when you're in that blind or tree stand, and just how it breathes life into you. And if you're getting to experience that as a vet or a first responder, and then at the same time, your family who doesn't maybe get to see that life in your face all that often when you're burdened at home or dealing with some mental issues or whatever it is, and they get to be out there and they get to see that life back in you when you're out there. I'm sure that is pretty awesome for them to get to be there and be part of it too. It's the same for all of us, if maybe to a lesser degree, where we don't have that history of things weighing on our mind that most of us just can't even really understand. But yeah, really cool. And let's see, moving down. So what about this year? I guess one thing I was going to say is really good that Ben mentioned. He even went to the extreme of talking about mushroom hunting and just outdoors camaraderie. I think a lot of times people just think it's deer hunting and over. So, September to December and then 8 or 9 months of nothing. But just recognizing that, VCO guys go a lot further, all kinds of hunting and outdoors activities, even just mushroom hunting and doing all that kind of stuff. So just because it's June doesn't mean you can't find a place to go get your head right with one of these guys. If you just reach out to them and see what they're up to, I'm sure Ben can come up with something.
Oh, all the time. We're always doing something outside.
Yeah. And so what have you been up to so far this year? You kind of hit on the story with Dennis, which I'll just touch back on. Like I said, we're going to cover that story in a lot more detail on some videos that we're going to be making for Dennis's memoirs. And I think the title was something like Dennis Expert Hunter or something like that is what David said. But it'll be a short series. I can't cover everything that happened that weekend for him in just one video, but be a short series of videos, and just a really cool story. If you guys didn't see it, he just unfortunate what he went through, being a first responder in Florida and new hunter as an adult, and just some racial incidents that happened. And it was really cool to see Veterans Creed Outdoors just jump, and to see how Dennis reflected on the experience and just the genuine his reflection was genuine, and obviously the efforts of the VCO guys was very genuine. Didn't come across as a here's a way for us to go viral type of thing. It was, we legitimately can change this dude's life. Let's do it, and we're gonna enjoy doing it. And it was cool to see it happen. So that was one big event that I know has gone down. What else has gone down so far this year for you?
Well, with the COVID, it's really put a damper on a lot of things, a lot of our efforts. However, we've still been able to pull a few things off. Here, just like this last weekend, we had an Air Force Staff Sergeant come out here to my place, and he came down for 2 days. First day, it was just pretty uneventful. Didn't see a whole lot, and I was actually really disappointed. I kind of put him in my prime spot, and it was his first Iowa archery hunt for deer, and it just didn't quite pan out. So I invited him back down for a second day. Just the conditions were perfect, and he had an opportunity on an absolute stud, and unfortunately caught a tree branch and missed his deer. But later that day, actually it was about a little after noon, so midday, he had another buck come through that obviously been chasing. His tongue was hanging out, and just crazy experience. And he was able to harvest that deer. And then this deer took a nosedive off a 100-foot bank down into a creek bottom. And thankfully, my one of my younger boys, Brexton, was available to help drag him out, which was, for me, is really cool to see even my family members and my kids get involved with it. And he was sitting up in the room. He's off school, of course. And I said, "Hey, gotta get some jeans on. We gotta go to work." And man, he was out the door ready to go before I was even ready. And so to see that side of it as well is just, it really is a family affair. And every one of our guests is just another one of our family members, and to see my kids get the concept is just outstandingly awesome. But he had a fantastic trip. Was very grateful, and he's been sending me pictures, and it looks like even his wife has gotten involved with it and is getting a positive experience out of it. And then this weekend, so excited! I'm starting to get the anxious, nervous jitters. We're taking 2 veterans out to North Carolina for a bear hunt, which is freaking awesome. I'm so excited to go out there with these guys and hopefully have a great experience. From my place, it's 20-hour drive, so just to drive out there and back is going to be an adventure. So we're really looking forward to that. So be looking for some stuff coming on that. Hopefully we have some cool pictures to share.
Yeah. You guys saw the picture of Donald and his buck. I see you on there, Donald. He's on here commenting too, but that's sweet, man. It was cool. I wish I'd have ripped off some more pictures there quick, because you do have the picture of Brexton helping him drag that deer out, and that crazy ravine that he's laying at the bottom of and just looks like a little speck.
Oh man, so we was tracking him and we had good blood. Unfortunately, we found out afterwards the broadhead had hit the backside leg, and so he didn't get an exit hole. So even with just an interest, we still had a really good blood trail, and so I was really confident that deer was down. And we come up around the ridge, and you can see where the deer had he'd run into a tree, And so at that point, I knew that deer was close. He was starting to stumble at that point. And but we lost the blood trail. And I was like, well, boys, I think I'm going to go look downhill and see what I see. And I come up, there's a big log, and I leaned up against it, and I looked down, and I could see a really deep hoof print down below me. And so I walked down to that, and was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the way he went. And, because a deer goes down the hill that steep, you're going to get 30 or 40 yards before you see another. I mean, that deer probably jumped 20 or 30 feet, in one bound. So you're going to have a huge gap in your blood trail. And I never did see another drop of blood, but I was going down that hill pretty fast because it was super steep. And I got up to the edge, and the picture, I think did we put that on the page? I don't remember.
I think so. Maybe that's where I saw it on, was the Team Iowa page.
Yeah, I took a picture for it. So if you check out our Facebook page, you'll see it on there. Man, that thing was a long ways down there. And, it just kind of, it really goes to show how tough those animals are. And, he had a perfect shot on it. But he went probably a couple hundred yards. And it was it's just awesome to me, the tenacity that those animals have, and their will to live.
Yeah, it was really cool. I enjoyed hearing that Donald had success on just his second hunt going down there. Really cool. And like Ben said, that just shows you the character of Ben and the guys at VCO. The first set he put him in his number one stand. It's not like, well, I'll put you over here and you might have a chance. It's, dude, this is my number one stand and I haven't been there yet. I guarantee you're going to have a chance. And yeah, just really cool what these guys are willing to do for people that they don't know. You talk to Donald on Facebook Messenger probably or something a couple times, and had him at your house 24 hours later.
I hadn't even met him the day before. I think you had talked to him about something, and he messaged me, and I said, well, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's come down and hunt. I got a stand you can sit in. And sure enough, he was here that afternoon, and put him up in my favorite stand that I'd only hunted out of it once.
Yeah.
But for me, being we've talked a few different times about the stages in your hunting career, I guess you could say. I've hit that stage where and I expressed this to Donald, I get just as much joy and pleasure out of seeing them be successful and having a good time. I don't even care if they kill anything, because that's not what it's about. That's what we're out there to do as a hunter. But for me, putting them out there in that tree, getting the experience and seeing the wildlife and the style of hunting we do, I've got a lot of years of experience doing this. So, I'm able to show them some pointers to help them out down the road with their hunting alone, as well as, showing them that, just get out there and immerse yourself in this nature. It's so therapeutic, and I just enjoy being able to share that with other veterans and first responders and active duty as well. It's just I don't know, it's hard for me to verbalize what it does for me. I'm just very, very grateful that I can share that.
Donald says here, he gives you a compliment. He says, Ben is a fantastic guy. Cannot wait to hopefully do some more work with him in the future, not only hunting, but helping out and getting involved with what he does, which is at the heart of what VCO is doing, what Middle American Outdoors is doing, is keeping traditions alive, doing everything you can to help another person enjoy it so that they'll pass it on. And then you see quality people step up like Donald and be ready to take that next step toward making sure somebody else gets to be successful so that they want to pass it on and their kids and their wife get to experience it instead of hogging it to themselves and their family. Just really cool. It's a blessing to us when we see people respond back. This was later on down the road, but I'll just go into it here. Is basically what is Middle American Outdoors role with VCO. And I was thinking about this today, and the way I would put it best is I see my role is here is to identify people and turn them to Ben. you know, basically, I met Donald because he actually came up to my house to buy some hunting equipment that he saw on the marketplace or something. And in doing so, talking a little bit, found out that he was at Offutt and, was active duty. And he kind of talked about, and forgive me if I get this wrong, Donald, but I'm pretty sure he's from Oklahoma originally. And
Yep.
so he's talking about some of his struggle getting on at least good deer activity in Iowa, being in the Council Bluffs area and working over at Offutt. And he's also doing all this public service while he's there and all this other stuff. I'm like, here's the dude right here, man. He
Yep.
drives a minivan. He's got kids with him who look like they adore him and they're pumped about him buying outdoor stuff. Like, I'm just gonna give Ben this guy's name and let Ben rock his world. And like, I mean, that's my role. That's what I see Middle American Outdoors role in VCO is take those opportunities and make it known. We try to help any hunter, any outdoors man or woman, any way we can to enjoy the outdoors, whether it's helping them identify spots to hunt on public land or anything we can, recognizing we're not experts, but we're willing to share what we know. And when those people pop up and they're first responders and veterans, then bam, here's a way to get them into experts' hands through VCO, be it through Ben in Iowa or the greater organization at large. So that's our role. I see that's how we're linked together, and then supporting them any way we can financially and fundraiser wise. So we'll get into that part real quick as a transition. Do you want to talk, Ben, about the current fundraiser you have going for VCO Iowa?
We'll start with the fact that this is 100% nonprofit. So none of us take anything from this financially. Every dollar we get goes into making trips like that possible, and it is very expensive. I'm sure Matt can agree with the fact that even hunting for yourself is exceptionally expensive. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but when we're doing stuff like this, it is more so. More often than not, we're having to deal with feeding them, lodging them. Sometimes they need gear. A couple years ago, we had a veteran come out that his baggage got lost through the airline, and so we had to go get him an entire outfit. And for a long time, a lot of this comes out of our own pocket, or we're using our own personal gear, which obviously we don't mind doing, but it really creates somewhat of a hardship for us, and it also lessens the quality of the experience for them. We want them to, we don't want them to have to buy their tags. We don't want them to have to pay their travel expenses and lodging and whatnot. This room I'm in right now is a cabin we put up here at my place that we've been working on just so they have a place to stay that's comfortable, homey, right out the door we can go hunting. So in saying all that, we do have a couple fundraisers going right now. One of them is we're raffling off a hog hunt, and the hunt will take place in Texas. You'll get a choice of either a Savage Axis 350 Legend rifle or a crossbow. The reason we went with the 350 Legend is in Iowa, they don't have an actual rifle season, it's just shotgun season, where you can use a straight walled rifle cartridge, which is the 350 Legend. It's a low recoil rifle. We're planning on getting one for the organization as well. So like we have shotgun season coming up, and actually we're planning on bringing Donald's son out here.
Nice.
To get to experience some of this.
Shoot the deer Donald missed.
Yeah. Maybe he'll get a shot at that big one, which would be awesome, and I would make sure to rub it in extra hard. And you'll also get an igloo cooler full of hunting stuff and gift cards. Right now, we're just a little over $1,500 value on that. So we're selling raffle tickets for that. If you're interested in getting one, you can email me or reach out to us on our Facebook page, and I can tell you how to get those. Then also we're selling Middle American Outdoors t-shirts, the Hunter's Prayer shirt. Oh, do you have a picture of that, Matt?
Yeah, up on the screen is the picture with the t-shirt on one side and your raffle package on the other.
Okay, so if you get on there, you click on the link, and it'll take you to a portal where you can order your t-shirts. And something weird happened with that site. It asks you to log in, and we're not sure why, and we're having trouble getting that fixed. But if you just click on the VCO logo above that, it'll take you to the order page. So for every shirt that you purchase, you'll also get a ticket for that hog hunt raffle. So you get to, you'll get something for your donation. At the very least, you'll get a really cool t-shirt, which I'm excited to see those in person. They're going to be pretty sweet. On the front, it's got the Middle American Outdoors logo, and on the back, it's got the Hunter's Prayer, just a really sweet shirt that Matt came up with.
Yeah, and part of that too. So you're also supporting Middle American Outdoors if you go the t-shirt route. By supporting Middle American Outdoors, you're helping us to do stuff like we're going to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo in January. We're going to have a booth there. And we're obviously not a profit-generating organization, but we want to be there, and we want to be that presence that we try to be in the hunting industry as far as the safe place for people to learn and get our names out there. And one way to do it is to be involved in stuff like the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, but that comes with a price tag to have a booth because you're taking up some vendor spaces. So we're willing to foot that, but stuff like buying these t-shirts really helps us to offset that cost. And by doing so, you also get a ticket into that drawing through VCO. It's completely through VCO. We're not doing the selling. VCO Iowa is doing the selling. It's going through them entirely. We just have our logo on there, and we're pushing it for them basically. Or if you're not interested in a t-shirt, like Ben said, you can, or maybe you just want to get one t-shirt, get your raffle ticket, and then get a bunch more raffle tickets. Because right now, Ben, you've got pretty good odds of winning, right?
Yeah, we'll be lucky to cover the cost on the rifle.
Yeah, so
right now the odds are really good. We're going to be selling the shirts till December 2nd, I believe. Is that right?
I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, December 2nd is when is the cutoff for the order in the shirts, because it's a pre-order. That way, if you want to get it for a Christmas gift or whatever, you'll get it in time for Christmas. The hog hunt raffle, we will hold that drawing after the expo. So when I get back from Nebraska, I'll hold the drawing live on our BCO page. Yeah,
so it's just a really great way, guys, that you can get a sweet shirt. I think it's a sweet shirt, and get a ticket into the raffle, or you can just buy the raffle tickets through VCO Iowa. You can find it on the Veterans Creed Outdoors Team Iowa Facebook page or the Middle American Outdoors Business Facebook page, and find the links and stuff there. Pass it on to people get them to buy one for people that that love the outdoors. And that's one way that you can help us that costs you little, and you get something in return. You have potential to get something huge in return, thanks to guys that donate, like the hog hunts and the different things. Recognize that some of that stuff comes out of the pocket of Ben or Middle American Outdoors or whoever else. It's not all donated items. So like Ben said, we need to sell some tickets just to cover the cost that Ben put into it. So for real, guys, if you are, if you're inspired by Middle American Outdoors, you want to help bless either one of these organizations, just push that t-shirt sale and raffle, and you're going to see us pushing it a lot more over the next couple of weeks with that December 2nd deadline. But we don't want to be an infomercial, so we'll move on from there.
Hey, I want to throw out a huge shout out to C.L. Smith at Piney Woods Rooters.
Yeah,
the guy that donated the hog hunt. He has just been an absolute godsend to the VCO as a whole. Man, if we call with a need, he jumps at it. He's just been fantastic. We had just a shout out to his generosity. Travis went through a bout with some pretty serious medical stuff, and he put together a kind of a benefit for him and I think they're still got a few spots they're trying to fill on that. So another way that you can help VCO out as a whole, if you get on Piney Woods Rooters, there should be a link on the VCO page as well, and I think Matt shared it on the Middle American Outdoors page. If you got it in you, get on there and purchase a spot, and it's definitely going to a great cause. Travis, I tell you what, that guy he is something else, man. And I was very, very thankful I got to meet him in person when I went down for that deer hunt for Dennis. Just a fantastic guy that just pours his heart and soul into this organization and everybody he meets. So if you got it in you, maybe give them a look as well.
Awesome. Yeah, great points. Look like he's a hell of a cook too.
Yes, he is. That guy can cook some steaks, man. Let me tell you. Holy cow, I did not go hungry that weekend.
So if we just talked about the funding part of it, you don't have to make direct contributions. Here's a chance just to buy a t-shirt or buy raffle tickets and indirectly contribute basically that way. Obviously, you can directly contribute if you want to reach out to Ben. I'll throw up his email here in a little bit, but it's vcoteamiowa@gmail.com, correct?
Correct.
And you can always reach out to him. What are some other ways that people can help out or get involved on the contributing side of Veterans Creed Outdoors?
Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can go about that. One way is through gear. If you've got extra gear that you're not using no more, you upgraded. I've got a handful of stands that the cables were getting old or whatever, and they ditch it and go get a new one. I'll take those in, I'll refurbish them. A lot of times we've got veterans that their bow broke, which happened very recently. So a veteran needed a bow just to go hunt. We'll loan them one, or times we've even given them one. Or they need a pair of boots, they don't have cold weather boots. I have no problem sending a guy a pair of boots that's going to appreciate it. You can also donate your time. We're always looking for help, hanging stands, taking veterans out. So say you're going fishing next weekend and you've got an open spot in your boat and you want to take somebody out. If you get a hold of me, I will get somebody to you. That we do not have a shortage of veterans and first responders that would be very appreciative of the time that you'd offer to take them out. So we're always looking for more opportunities to get them out. And like I said, it's not just deer hunting. I mean, it's fishing, it's hunting, mushroom hunting, all those things. We're not kind of a one-trick pony. We do it all.
Nice. And I threw up the email there, vcoteamiowa@gmail.com. Like he said, I think another way too maybe is if they have access. Some places
definitely.
that you can access.
If you have property that you wouldn't mind us using, it does not go unappreciated. And also, there's a financial side of it as well, where it becomes a tax tax deduction for a donation to a nonprofit organization. So there is a financial aspect to it as well. A lot of the trips that I do personally happen right here on my own place, and we do hunt a lot of public ground. That also comes with its own set of setbacks. It is very beneficial for us to have access to some private property where we know that veteran's not going to be bothered, or they're not going to have to deal with competition, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, where they can get full enjoyment out of their trip. Because generally when we do a trip, it's 1 or 2 days. They don't have a full season to hunt. So last year, for instance, let me just kind of give you an example. We had a Navy SEAL veteran come out, and I had a really nice buck that was pretty well patterned on some public ground, and took him out there to my stand. First stand he went to, my stand had been stolen, and it was cable locked and everything. Somebody cut it down, and it was pretty devastating. Well, thankfully I had another one around the corner, not too far from that spot. Went and set him up on that. That one was missing as well. Went to the third stand, that one was gone. And and he flew in from California, just had a couple days to hunt. So, that just about ruined his whole experience. But thankfully, he was able to get an opportunity on that deer. Brought him into my place, and he was able to harvest one before he had to go home on the last day. So having that access to some private ground is absolutely huge.
Yeah, and the landowners, let's say they want to take the veteran hunting, they could, right? Or if they just have access and they want to open it up to you or somebody to take them out, they would just email you and talk to you about that opportunity.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I've talked to Ben. I can guarantee if that's who you are, that you have land and you're thinking this would be an effortless way for me to support the veterans and first responders, is just to open up my property to Ben and his hunters. I guarantee you Ben and his boys are going to be there doing more work for you during the off season, and any time you need fence fixed, you need anything, I can guarantee you Ben and his boys are going to be there to try to help if they can. They might annoy you even with trying to help you to pay you back. So if you're considering that, I would definitely contact Ben and just open that door and see what it's going to look like. Maybe really bless somebody with that opportunity. Let's see.
Well, and also Matt, we're not just Iowa as well.
Yeah.
So I'm so close to Nebraska, Missouri, and Kansas that it's not out of the question for me to travel to a neighboring state as well. So keep that in mind as well. So if you're in Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, and you've got even South Dakota, I mean, I don't mind. I went to Arkansas just to film a hunt. So
Yeah.
If you think you have an opportunity for a veteran or first responder and you want to help out, just let me know. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also the Veterans Creed Outdoors, just general at large Facebook page
Yes.
with Travis and David.
Yeah, we're working on becoming nationwide. Like I said, we're still fairly new. So if you are a veteran that is maybe interested in becoming a part of it, let me know, and I can put you in contact with David, and we'll work together. And by gosh, I tell you, every one of these guys in the organization is all about it. We want to get this everywhere.
Absolutely.
We want to become that household name.
Absolutely, and it should be. When you guys see what these guys do, you would understand why it should be everywhere and why MAO American Outdoors wants to be helping support these guys. So let's say if a veteran or first responder was interested in being part of the organization, such as Nebraska team lead or Missouri team lead or Kansas team lead or Iowa helper to Ben, whatever, they just want to be involved. Like Donald said, he wants to be involved. Or let's say if they're interested in some sort of trip, like they are a veteran or a first responder and they want to be considered for one of these outings, or if they wanted to host something, what do they need to do that?
Okay, there's many ways you can do that. I really don't want to give my phone number out because it'll just get blown up. But you can reach me on the Facebook page. You can message me there. Send me a personal friend request. That's more than appreciated. You can also email me at the vcoteamiowa@gmail.com. And also I would like to say that if you're a family member that think your veteran would benefit from this, please reach out to me.
Yeah, and down there on the email, you see it on bottom of the screen there, vcoteamiowa@gmail.com for those that are listening and can't see it. Let's see, we talked about your email, we talked about funding and t-shirts and the role that MAO plays in this. Anything else that you think we're missing, Ben, that you want to comment on before we call it?
I think that pretty well covers it for now. Was there any questions that popped up here recently?
No, just Matthew Reeves from Southern Pursuit was giving me a hard time for shaving my facial hair.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Your deer season's over. You don't need that camo no more.
I'm not done. Done. I mean, the buck's
down.
No,
not done. You better get that growed back before we got to go west.
Yeah, true. It's gonna take me like 6 months.
No, you watch. The wind's gonna be blowing 40 mile an hour. You're gonna be like, man, why'd I shave that off?
I was joking with Megan that she dislikes the facial hair more than she dislikes me being gone all the time. But so as soon as the buck went down, I got the face cleaned up. But other than that, he's also saying he's going through Iowa right now because I guess they made a quick trip out here to Nebraska to check it out, so Southern Pursuit can come hunt out here next year.
He needs to get an Iowa. Start applying for an Iowa tag. Show him what the deer hunting's really about.
Donald was giving you a hard time that you're calling monster deer little, and I told him that it's 180 or past for you. Must be nice.
Well, hopefully I get one more chance to go hunt before we head east.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go try to chase one Wednesday morning.
Alex had a question here. Let's see. He says, "What's public land like after all the rifles leave? I've never hunted anything other than rifle on private land, not bow on public." So he's the kid or a guy from Grand Island area that I've been talking with, and he's just basically saying in the past he's only ever hunted rifle on private land. This is his first year really hunting public, and it was his first year bow hunting. And I shared that picture on our page where he was able to take a doe on public land this year on a spot and stock, which is pretty cool. He's out there.
That's awesome.
Fighting with the Orange Army right now. And what would you say, Ben, off the topic? What would you say for what's it like on public land after rifle's over? You grew up in Nebraska, so you have a feel for it.
I hunted a ton of public ground growing up, so it takes about a week or two, and them deer, of course, they're going through the rut right now, so everything's just crazy. You think you have a deer pattern until that rut kicks in, and then just all the rules go out the window. The rut's going to be winding down about the time that the rifle season's over. Boy, that's a whole other subject. You're still going to have those bucks that are searching for that last doe going into estrus late. So you're still going to see a lot of midday activity, but they are generally going to be driven back into the thickest, nastiest stuff, or they're going to be in that little piece of cover that's always overlooked, the stuff that everybody drives by. Some of the biggest deer I've ever seen were after rifle season that were hit out in a little bitty farmstead that everybody drives right by, and they're right off the road. So look for those little secret spots that everybody walks past, where a deer has a good vantage point, can see from all directions, and don't be afraid to get back in the thick stuff. But usually about a week or two after the season's over, they'll start kind of getting back in their normal routine.
Yeah, I would agree. This is really, my first year of hunting more leased or private ground than public ground, but I've never really rifle hunted either. I would bow hunt before, and if I wasn't able to get it done, pushing hard, I'd have to resort to late season bow hunting. And like Ben said, like the rut's got to happen anyway. Just think about, they're driven for one thing. They're going to be a little bit more shy as far as, for instance, Ben had Donald set up on a big time travel corridor that they were probably hitting all day long during the rut. And they're probably on something like that. They're probably going to go a little more nocturnal. But you're still going to see them moving during the day. It's just going to be maybe on the downwind side of that known doe bedding, a little more secretively, not just traveling 3 miles as fast as they can to see what they can find anywhere. Might be more toward their home base where they kind of know, everything a little bit better, and they can pick out when something's different. They feel a touch more safer to be moving around during the day. The bedding sources, the food plots, the whatever it is that you've got, or not bedding, food plots, food areas, food sources. This turning toward late season food sources. The does and stuff got to be eating, especially if they're knocked up. And so the bucks are going to be around there. They might not be ready to start eating again yet, but they're going to be around there looking for those does. I think you're just not going to see them doing that 3-mile travel to see.
Yeah.
You know, if you had some bucks that you knew early season and they disappeared, this might be when they start to come back because they feel safe in their home range, and you might start to have a crack at them again if you're cautious enough. But public, it's tough, man.
Yeah, if you have some solid late season food sources, at least close by, usually around December, them bucks are really they're gonna have to start building back up that reserve that they lost during the rut. But that first week after rifle season, I had really good luck setting up on a crosswind. So those bucks are they're not going to be coming from downwind like you would think they would. Normally they're going to be coming in from a crosswind
because they're smelling as much territory as they can.
Yes. Yeah. They're going to walk. So say the wind's out of the east blowing west, they're going to walk north and south. So that's kind of what you want to set up. That's what I set Donald up on. We had a crosswind, and they're just searching these ridge tops and these little valleys and saddles where these does bed, and that last week of the rut is where they're really going to be searching hard for that last doe coming into estrus.
Nice, yeah. Alex says he's got an idea in mind, and he says we can't all pull bucks like Matt the day before rifle opener. Well, you got to keep in mind I had probably 200 hours in the stand, buddy. From September 7th to November 9th, I think, was the day I got it done. So, whew.
That was a marathon.
Yeah. So, I mean, the time's in there. But those are good pointers. It's not over. If anything, it's even better. I mean, bucks know, man. They survived rifle season. They were smart enough. The older, mature ones stayed maybe a little more nocturnal, stayed maybe a little more hidden, survived rifle season. Things start to calm down a little bit. Does start to creep out a little bit more, and then it starts to come back to life. They talk about second rut. These are things we'll probably talk about. Maybe this will be our topic next week for the fireside chat, but
right.
There's plenty of opportunity left out there, man. Just survive.
Yeah, them deer know when the pressure comes off.
They see the Orange Army moving in.
You betcha. I've actually been bow hunting, opening, when rifle season's kicking on, and you'll see that buck sneaking out of there. He sees them coming.
Yeah.
Traditionally a rifle hunter, and I don't want to speak bad about a rifle hunter, but traditionally as a whole, they don't take that same approach that a bow hunter does simply because they have the range advantage of a rifle. You better believe them big bucks that, they didn't get big for, kind of cliche, they didn't get big for no reason. They know when to get out of there.
Yeah.
They've been to the game.
Yeah, perfect example. We set my buddy up on Friday. So rifle opened Saturday morning here in Nebraska, and we set him up on Friday on private ground, same private ground that I killed my buck on, and had a pretty good feel for what was going on that private ground that, butts up against the public, and just didn't account for the Orange Army moving in on Friday to camp overnight. And his spot was probably 300 yards, 400 yards from that campground. But all that activity in the campground, I think it alerted the deer, and he didn't see anything even, the day before rifle. Just people weren't out obviously hunting or doing anything that day or shooting the rifles off for nothing. They just were moving in and setting up tents and everything else. And it was like, well, here comes the Orange Army. We're out of here.
They're not stupid. You gotta remember everything out there is trying to kill these things. So they are very aware of what's going on.
Yeah. Just got to get some good late season gear there, Alex, and get ready for it,
Layers.
man.
Don't get hot.
I think maybe next week that's what we'll kind of tackle is how to approach it post rifle.
Yeah.
Crap that
absolutely.
they don't have to worry about in Iowa.
If you guys want to see, hear us talk about any subjects, shoot us a message. Let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about.
Definitely. So there's a little tease for next week. Thanks, Alex, for being on and contributing, and Matthew and Donald and Travis and Brexton, everybody else that were online and live, leaving comments. Yeah, any parting shots, Ben, from VCO or MAO standpoint from you?
Huge shout out to my boy Brexton for helping us there last weekend.
Yeah.
We would not have been able to do that without him. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, the old mule.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in. Definitely leave us some comments or messages. Contact Ben if you have any interest in getting involved with VCO. Check out those fundraisers. Help us out. We got a couple weeks left on that. You're going to hear us pushing it a lot. And yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Oh, shoot.